My video for December the 16th, 2018, video number 2938, is entitled Planetary Changes After Civil War. Was our true history rewritten after the U.S. Civil War? Many of us have learned about the Rothschild international bankers' infiltration of European and America on the internet. Much information about this is less easy to find in the mainstream propaganda that most are familiar with at this time. While many do seem to be waking up to the deception, so many others still sleep. I recently met an old friend who was part of the 9/11 Truth movement, part of architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. I've also reviewed 2 reports from different sources in regard to major changes that allegedly took place in the latter half of the 19th century. We know that much is hidden from the general population under the cloak of secrecy. The money master enslavers do not want truth to be told for obvious reasons. They are perpetual liars. I suspect that many of them are not even human in the sense that we normally associate with that word. I got to correct another spelling error. That's an actual word, but not the right one. Was Earth infiltrated at a time when humanity began waking up during the American Revolution? Was there a great awakening or a deliberate dumbing down of we the people? I have many questions. I wish we were all more open to questioning things we've been told, even about our more recent history. Oh boy. Yes, my friend from Australia, Max Egan, Crowhouse, he's been putting out some interesting hour videos. He does I think one a week, basically. And he's been doing them for a long time, like I have. And are, of course, more in depth than my 10-minute videos. But in any case, he is one that has pointed out, as well as another person whom I believe is from India, talking about the atmospheric electricity and hidden technologies that were actually present in earlier generations. When I say earlier generations, I mean in recent time period, like in the last few centuries, people were more advanced. They actually had electricity that they could get right out of the air. It wasn't just Tesla technology. It was technology that was being used in a lot of our churches and buildings were actually antennas that drew electricity from the very sky itself, that didn't need wires for to generate it. It's there. It's in the atmosphere. We are in an electrical universe, you might even say, but certainly our planet is an electrical planet, and it's natural stuff. It's not something that's supernatural or artificially created. It's a natural thing. And Tesla wanted to bring us the ability to power everything without having to pay for it. But of course, the money masters didn't want that. And so some people suggest, and I'm not sure where I am on it yet, but some people suggest that there was a major depopulation, actually, and a major destruction with mud and other things, not rain, but actual mud that submerged a lot of things. And there was a lot of movement of the people, especially children, were taken during this time and transported to various parts of the world to work as slaves. How much of this do I believe? Do I know? I don't know any of it. Do I believe that there's a potential or a possibility that some of it is true? Of course I do, or I wouldn't even be talking about it. There's a lot of things we simply haven't been told. And the problem is consistently that the money masters, the Rothschilds, the international bankers, the cabal, the Illuminati, give it whatever name you want to put on them. These are dishonest and people that lack any credibility of honor whatsoever. As was it Rockefeller that said, if they knew what we were doing, they would hang. No, that was George Bush. If they knew what we were doing, they'd lynch us. They'd take us out and lynch us. But there's been so much hidden, so much technology that we could be so much further advanced than what we are. But we're not. And there's a lot of ETs that are apparently present on our planet. And they've come from various places. Some of them may be benevolent. Some of them may be innocently used by the cabal. And some of them might be malevolent. I don't know the answer to these things. I mean, I have so many more questions than I used to have. And I think if so much wasn't being concealed from us, we would all have a lot more questions. And if we're conscious enough to ask the questions, we might be ready to receive answers. But we don't even ask the questions because we don't know enough. We've been so dumbed down. We've been called sinners, and our brains have been messed with. Our capacities and capabilities have been diminished, not increased, but diminished. That's what the chemtrails are about. That's why they put fluoride in our water. That's why they genetically modify our food, so that we are less than what we were created to be. Folks, what's it going to take to get these bastards out of the way? These people that think that they have the right to keep us from advancing so that they can maintain their money, their monetary system, and their slavery system. It's a slavery system. Do I want the RV to happen? Sure, I want the RV to happen, but I don't know that I'm ever going to see a currency revaluation that benefits me, that I'm able to benefit humanity with. I know I was promised that. I know there's many people that are on the fence, or I shouldn't say on the fence, that are actually waiting for this RV to happen. But so much of what we perceive is based on lies. So much of it is deception. And we've all been deceived. We've got to get through this somehow. And I don't like to keep coming back to this, but it's going to take some kind of intervention of some sort, whether it's extraterrestrial, whether it's angelic, whatever the trigger mechanism might be. Something has to shift us out of the paradigm of monetary control and into a paradigm of cooperation and of open sharing and of the desire to help others succeed and advance so that all of humanity can advance. It's time to break out of the bonds of enslavement that we've been entrapped in for at least several generations, if indeed a lot of these things happened after the Civil War. Is that true? Again, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know, but I'm curious enough to investigate and to think outside the box. I wish we all would do that. Thank you for listening, and namaste.